Nesting kids, it's so great to be with you again. Did you know in the next couple weeks we're going to be learning about Esther? You see, Esther was made for a special plan. God had big plans for her. I'm pretty sure Esther didn't know that. She wasn't anyone particularly special, and she hadn't had a very easy life. In fact, Esther was an orphan. That meant that her mother and father had died. So Esther went to live with her cousin Mordecai. If that happened to you, if that was your story, it might be easy for you or I to feel like maybe God didn't love us anymore, or maybe He didn't care for us, or maybe He'd forgotten all about us. Maybe Esther felt that way too. But what we're going to learn through this study of Esther is that God had big plans for her. You see, even though Esther wasn't particularly special and her life didn't look perfect, God wanted to use her for something very big. Things happen in our lives not by accident, but by God's design. We don't always understand God's plans or God's ways, but He has a plan for you, just like He had a plan for Esther. We can trust Him. And God used Esther, and He can use us too. I want to show you some items here, and you can tell me what they are. I'm going to hold it up and you tell me. What's this? You're right, it's a fork. Okay. What's this? It's a pen. You're right. What's this? A pair of scissors. Each of these things has a purpose. Each of these things was created to do something. But these scissors here, if I just leave them sitting here, they're not doing much of anything. They're not doing what they were meant to do. You see, scissors were meant to cut. Pens were meant to write with. And forks were meant to feed us, right? But it isn't until we put them in our hand that they can be used to do what they're meant for. It isn't until we pick up the fork and we use it that it nourishes our body, put food in our mouth, right? You see, each one of these things was designed for a purpose, on purpose. But you have to put it in your hand first. That's like our life. That's just like you and me. And we need to give our lives to God. We need to put our lives in God's hands. Just like Esther did. She trusted God with her life. She obeyed God and followed His direction. Followed what Mordecai had heard from God. They followed this plan. They were obedient, and Esther was used by God to save her people. You see, if we can trust God with our life, and we put our gifts and our talents and all that we are in His hand, we can be used by God too. So I hope that helps you to understand a little bit more about Esther and a little bit about how you can be used by God. See you later.